So a lot of people been asking me, "Hey AJ, how do you trade these very fast moves?" And I go back to something I've actually been teaching this premise almost 20 years now, and it's about measuring the price velocity and even the price acceleration. Now, gosh, that sounds like a lot, and it brings in like memories of the physics classes that we took in high school and in college. But I always tell people to think about the speedometer on their car. A lot of times your speedometer on your car, it's telling you that you're going, I don't know, 50 miles per hour, or if you're somewhere else in the world, it might say, 80 or 100 kilometers per hour. But if you think about it, if that device on your dashboard actually measured in hours, you would have to drive a whole hour for it to be able to tell you how fast you're driving. In reality, what this device does is it measures a distance that you've driven in a short amount of time, and then it extrapolates over the upcoming hour. It says if you keep at this speed that you're going right now, you'll be going 40 miles per hour or something like that. That's how those devices work. And so what we want to kind of understand is how much price action, how much movement in dollars, either buying or selling, is happening per hour, per half hour, per 18 minutes, per 12 minutes, right? Whatever it takes to get a good reading on the speed. Because if the speed of price action is a certain speed, it usually means that you can jump in on a trade. And so that's what a lot of people do. They'll actually set up a timer, just like a stopwatch. And in on this timer, say for instance, they'll start the timer at 0, and then 30 minutes later, they'll identify, where price is. Did price, let me stop my magic invisible ink here. If over that 30 minutes, if price dropped, say for instance, about 1%, that's a pretty big drop for price in a 30-minute time period. That might be worth jumping on a down trade. The speed is going quite quickly, right? So you could simply look at an open and a close 30 minutes later and kind of do the math, or let, the computer do the math. And if it's more than 1% of the price action, that might be a signal to jump in on a trade, right? Um, Another thing, though, that traders do simultaneously is they like to look at, that price is kind of smooth, that it's not all over the place during that half hour. We call that smooth and consistent price movement. So for instance, they'll look at 6 5-minute bars, right? 6 5-minute bars is a half hour. And they'll make sure that those 6 5-minute bars are smooth, instead of one bar here, one bar up here, one bar down, instead of zigzag. And so, along with just looking at the open and the close at the beginning and end of a half hour, they'll look at those 6 5-minute bars throughout and just make sure they're nice and smooth. Now, if you're automating this, because a lot of you I know like to automate your indicators, one thing that folks do, you guys, if you remember the term best fit trend line, drop a comment to, whatever platform you're watching us on. Just say, I know about best fit trend lines. Even better, if you know about the statistical term for best fit trend line, otherwise known as linear regression, let me know in the comments if that's you, if you remember these terms, because what you can actually do is program your software, your automatic trading software, to do a linear regression line on top of those 6 5-minute bars. And again, I just picked 30 minutes as a sample number. Some people use 3-minute bars, and so if you do 6 3-minute bars, you look at the beginning and the end of an 18-minute cycle. If you're using 2-minute bars and you're looking at 6 2-minute bars and doing a linear regression line on 2-minute bars, you might be looking at a 12-minute cycle. Whether you're looking over a hour, 30-minute, 18-minute, 12-minute, even 6-minute time frame, that's up to you and how you do your trading. But what I'm suggesting is you do one of these linear regression measurements, which that's built into a lot of our trading softwares. And even better, there's this thing called R squared. And I know I'm getting really nerdy here, but you'll find an indicator in almost every charting package called R squared. And what R squared does is it's a statistical measurement, and it measures how close are the bars to your linear regression line, to your best fit trend line. And if that R squared is high, like over 0.85, it means there's a good, smooth, and consistent price action in the direction you're going. So you get a combination of that high velocity move and that high squared movement throughout, and that might be a good reversal signal. And you know when that's really a good reversal signal, Sip? I put him to sleep.
No, I'm here.
You know,
I don't know the answer.
It's the really good signal is right after you have you've hit up against a level of support or resistance. And you remember we had a guest on about 2 weeks ago. His name was Fausto, and Fausto was identifying these levels of support and resistance based on heavy order flow using NASDAQ level 4 data. If you hit one of those price levels that he identified, or if you're using traditional support and resistance like I do from historical highs and lows, you hit that level and then you notice velocity in the opposite direction. That's a great trading signal.